So one of the other fascinating life forms is other humans, but living a very different kind of life. So uncontacted tribes. What do you find most fascinating about them?
What I find most fascinating about the uncontacted tribes is that while me and you are sitting here with microphones and a light, somewhere out there in that darkness, in that direction, not so far away as the crow flies, there are people sitting around a fire in the dark, probably with little more than a few leaves over their heads, who don't even have the use of stone tools, who only have metal objects that they've stolen from nearby communities. They're living such primitive, isolated, nomadic lives in the modern world, and they're still living naked out in the jungle. It's truly incredible. It's truly remarkable, and I think that it's because they can't advocate for themselves, they can't protect themselves. It's sort of like, well, we can let them get shot up by loggers and let their land get bulldozed while they hide. They have no idea that their world is being destroyed. But they're sort of the scariest and most fascinating thing out there right now in the jungle.
What do you think because you've spoken about them being dangerous, what do you think their relationship with violence is?
I think
Why is violence part of their approach to the external world?
So from the best I understand it, that at the turn of the century, Industrial Revolution, we had sudden immense need for rubber, for hoses and gaskets and wires and tires and the war machine. And the only way to get rubber was to come down to the Amazon rainforest and get the local people who knew the jungle to go out into the jungle and cut rubber trees and collect the latex. Mm-hmm. And Henry Ford tried doing Fordlandia, tried having rubber plantations, but leaf blight killed it. And so you had this period of horrendous extraction in the Amazon where the rubber barons were coming down and just raping and pillaging the tribes and making them go out to tap these trees. Mm-hmm. And the uncontacted tribes said no. They had their 6-foot-long longbows, 7-foot-long arrows with giant bamboo tips, and they moved further back into the forest. And they said, we will not be conquered. And since that time, they've been out there, and it's confusing because in a way they're still running scared a century later. And their grandparents would have told them, you know, the outside world, everyone you see in the outside world is trying to kill you. So kill them first. So can you blame them for being violent? No. Is this river still wild because loggers were scared to go here for a long time, for almost a century late? That's why this forest is still here? Yes. And so is it a human rights issue that we protect the last people on Earth that have no government, no affiliation, no language that we can explain? We don't know what their medicinal plant knowledge is. We don't know their creation myths. We know nothing about them. And they're just out there right now with bows and arrows, living in the dark, surviving in the jungle, naked, without even spoons. Forget about the wheel. Forget about iPhones. They got nothing, and they're making it work.
We don't know their creation myths. So they have a very primitive existence. Well, do you think their values... First of all, do you think their nature is similar to ours? And how do their values differ from ours?
This is complicated because the anthropologist in me wants to say that they have a historical reason for the violent life that they have. You know, they experienced incredible generational trauma some time ago, and because they've been living isolated in the jungle, that has permeated to become their culture. They've become a culture of violence. But yet the contacted modern indigenous communities that we work with, that are my friends that work here. Just the other day, we were speaking to one of them who was pulling spikes out of your hand while he was explaining that he tried to help them, the brothers, los hermanos. He tried to help them. He tried to give them a gift. And what did they do? They shot him in the head.
Yeah, he said there are brothers. And he tried to give them bananas.
Plantains.
Boat full of plantains. And they shot at him.
They shot 3 arrows at him, and one of them actually hit him in the skull and put him in the hospital, and he got helicopter evacuated from his community. And so he's brave for surviving, but he's a lucky survivor. They are incredibly accurate with those bamboo-tipped arrows, and those arrows are 7 feet long. So when you get hit by one, they come at a velocity that can rip through you. And the range on a shotgun is way shorter than the range on a longbow. You're talking about a couple 100 meters on a longbow. And they're deadly accurate. They can take spider monkeys out of a tree. And so there's stories of loggers, and I've seen the photos of the bodies of loggers who attacked one of the tribes. And the tribes hadn't done anything, but these loggers came around a bend. They started shooting shotguns at the tribe, and the tribe scattered into the forest. And as the loggers' boat went around a bend, they just started flying arrows. Took out the boat driver, boat skidded to the side, and then everybody was standing in the river, and you can't run. And the tribe just descended on them and just porcupined them full of arrows.
Shotgun versus bow. There's a shotgun shell here, by the way.
Yeah.
From the loggers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we picked that up yesterday. Was that yesterday?
That was, I don't know.
I don't know.